We're here now at the PennVet booth, and I'm joined by Dr. Lisa Murphy. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for joining us.
All right, so why don't you start by just telling us a little bit about PennVet and the program at the school?
Sure. So PennVet is the state's only veterinary school. We have two campuses. So our main campus is in Philadelphia, and I work at our large animal campus. So that's New Bolton Center out in Kennett Square. Both of the campuses have large referral hospitals, but we also do lots of training and research and other services for the state from those locations.
Fantastic. And so now, how many students go through PennVet or are enrolled at the program?
Sure, so it's a 4-year program, so it's after college, it's another 4 years past that, and each of our classes have about 120 to 130 students, so we'll be graduating that number every year. And what's exciting is, so if you look out and you take your pet to a veterinarian in the state, whether it's a cow or a horse or a dog or a cat, over 75% of those veterinarians went to PennVet.
Wow, that's fantastic. That's a great resource and opportunity you're providing for students to not only learn about the veterinary industry, but then also stay here in Pennsylvania. So that's fantastic. Now, we're talking about the school and workforce development with Secretary Redding. And so can you tell me a little bit about if somebody wanted to go to PennVet, what type of background would they need before they would go? You said they go to undergraduate college. So what type of background or experience are you looking for in applicants?
Perfect. So that's actually a great question. And so the neat thing is veterinary medicine is actually a really diverse career in terms of what you do. You can work in a hospital, you can drive around out in a truck, you can work in a laboratory like I do, you can work in research, you can work in legislature, all sorts of things. So we actually look for people with a really wide background and lots of different interests. We think that's important, but you usually need to be pretty good in math and science at the very least.
Okay, that's great. Well, that's one of the things the Secretary and I talked about is the focus of this year's farm show on STEM and the importance of that in the agriculture industry. So it seems like we're hitting the same notes there. So that's fantastic.
Perfect.
Now, why don't you tell me a little bit about what you do at the school?
Sure. So I am a veterinarian. I actually went to PennVet and graduated quite some time ago, and my specialty is toxicology. So what we do with toxicology is we're diagnosing animal poisonings. So it's usually something that they may have gotten into their environment, something they ate, something they drank, something they found that can make them sick. And the reason it's important is a lot of those same things that make animals sick might make people sick, might contaminate food, might contaminate water. So it's certainly never boring to be a toxicologist.
That is for sure. Well, that's important work you do, so thank you for that. And now let's talk about what you're doing here at the farm show and what the idea is behind having a PennVet booth here at the show.
Sure. Well, like I said, we're the only vet school in the state, so it's a great chance once a year to come and tell everybody a lot about what we do if they maybe haven't had a chance to come see us at one of our locations. So we bring lots of things for people to see. We have radiographs, so x-rays that people can see of all different animals. They have a good time maybe guessing what those pictures would be. We have some really great animal skulls this time around, so a few things again to keep people guessing. We have tigers, we have dolphins, we have horses. So really it's just a chance for us to meet people and talk to them about what we do, show them what we do, which I think is actually sometimes better than words a lot of the time, and answer questions. So a lot of people that stop at the booth have animals of their own and have questions about their animals, or like you said, they're interested in wanting to be a veterinarian and they want to know a little bit more about what that's like.
Great. Well, that's fantastic. What got you interested in this field, or why did you choose to go into this area?
So I'm one of those kids that from a very, very young age, I loved animals. I loved everything about them. I liked being outside with them. So I always wanted to be an animal doctor. But one of the things when you get into that is there's so many different things that you can do as a veterinarian. So like I said, my specialty is toxicology, and I like it. And a lot of veterinary medicine is detective work, right? You're trying to answer questions. There are things that either are really hard, our patients don't talk to us, so we have to use other tools and knowledge to figure it out. And there are a lot of things that we just don't know or that are new. So a lot of what we do when we're doing surveillance in our laboratories for diseases, there are diseases that we know we want to look out for. So things like avian influenza that can be a problem, right? But then there's also things that we don't know, or there may be things in the food and water that could make animals and people sick that might make our food not safe, or just new diseases that we can't quite understand or explain why animals are getting sick and maybe more importantly aren't getting better. So we're always discovering new things.
Great. And so you talked about some of that research that you do. The state does fund a portion of PennVet and its curriculum, and that's because of the important role it plays for the economy here in the state and also the health and well-being of animals and people. What are some of the challenges or recent issues that you've really been facing here in Pennsylvania?
So I guess for us, rather than challenges, I guess I like to look at them as opportunities, right? So things that are exciting for us to do. So I mentioned our surveillance. So at our PADLS lab, that stands for the Pennsylvania Animal Diagnostic Lab System, one of the 3 locations is at New Bolton Center. I'm actually the director for those laboratories. So we have more than 30 people that every day they're testing samples from animals all over the state, samples from those animals' environment, looking for diseases that would be problems for the animals or people that are eating those animals. So again, like I said, that we can actually do that for the citizens of Pennsylvania and know that their animals are safe, that their food is safe, that they're safe. That's really exciting. But like I said, it's important to have experts in place that are also innovating and looking at new tests, better, faster ways of finding disease. So if we have a new problem, or if we get a really big unexpected problem, that we actually have the right people to respond and keep us safe as quickly and efficiently as possible.
That's great. Well, thank you for all the work you do, and thanks for joining us today. It was really an informative discussion that we had, and I appreciate your time.